The highway that wasn't there. It started with a wrong turn. I was driving home late at night from my cousin's wedding. The highway was nearly empty, just me and the occasional truck passing by. My GPS had been acting up all night, glitching and rerouting me in circles. Annoyed, I switched it off and decided to trust my instincts. Big mistake. Somewhere past midnight, I noticed a road sign for a highway I'd never seen before, Route 23. The weird thing was, I'd taken this drive plenty of times before, and there was no Route 23. But the sign looked official, green with reflective white letters, and I was too tired to question it. I turned onto the exit. At first, it seemed normal, a long stretch of road flanked by dense trees. No streetlights, but the moon was bright enough to illuminate the way. I figured I'd just find a shortcut, then I saw the first car. It was an old sedan, parked on the side of the road, his headlights blinking. As I slowed down, I realized the driver's door was open, nobody inside. Just as I was debating whether to stop, I noticed another car further down and another, all abandoned, doors hanging open, his headlights flashing. My stomach tightened. It looked like people had left in a hurry. I pressed the gas and kept moving. That's when my radio crackled to life. At first, just static, then a voice, distorted and faint. "Do not stop." Chills ran down my spine. The voice was flat, almost robotic, but there was something off about it. Before I could react, my headlights caught something ahead. A figure standing in the middle of the road. I slammed the brakes. My car skidded to stop, just inches from the figure. A man. His back was to me, standing perfectly still. He wore a dark hoodie and jeans, but something about his posture was unnatural, like he wasn't really standing, but being held in place. My pulse pounded. I honked, but he didn't move. I debated reversing when I noticed something worse. His shadow. It stretched the wrong way. The headlights were behind him, but his shadow slithered toward me, stretching unnaturally long across the pavement. My breath caught in my throat. Then he twitched. Not turned, not moved. Just twitched, like a puppet on strings. And then, the worst part, his head snapped to the side at an impossible angle, revealing a face I knew. It was mine. I don't remember screaming. I don't remember shifting into reverse. I only remember speeding backwards so fast I nearly flipped the car. My tires screeched as I veered back onto the main highway, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would burst. When I finally got home, shaking and drenched in sweat, I grabbed my phone to look up Route 23. It doesn't exist. I checked maps, old records, even asked locals the next day. No one had ever heard of it, but when I went outside to clear my head, I noticed something in my car's side mirror. A shadow, standing just behind me. And it was smiling. We were driving. Where to, I had no idea, but I knew what we were running from. Mom and Dad had first seen it 2 weeks ago. I'd seen it 2 days ago, staring in through my bedroom window. I don't think Jack and Amy have seen it yet. In a way, I'm the reason we're driving. If I hadn't told Mom and Dad I'd seen it, we mightn't have left. But I did. I ran to the room the moment I saw it through the dark window. I've never seen my parents so scared. They packed us all into the car the moment the sun was up in the morning, only letting us grab a few essentials. Jack, Amy, and me thought we were just going into town. We live out on a farm in the country, far away from any neighbors. I think the three of us were just expecting our parents to take us to our aunt's place or the closest police station. But we drove right through town and on to the next one, and after that, yet another. We spent the night in a motel, all in the same room. Mom and Dad slept in shifts. The one who was awake sat up beside the only window, its curtains closed, with the shotgun. And the next morning, we were on the road again, starting out the moment the sun was high enough in the sky. For lunch, Dad just handed back snacks. We didn't stop. "You didn't even give me a chance to charge my phone," Jack complained, stuffing his dead phone into the seat back pocket behind Dad. "I'd like to able to at least check on what's going on outside this damn car." Jack was the oldest, getting ready for college. He was the only one who tried Dad right now. As the youngest, I sat on the far back row of the minivan, my two siblings on the seat in front of me. I watched as Dad spun around in his seat, grabbed the phone out of the pocket, rolled down his window, and pitched the phone out of it. "Hey!" Jack shouted. "What the hell, Dad?" Dad rolled his window back up. He didn't answer. His face was set hard and worried. Jack yelled to let us know he was furious, then sat back in a sulk. I turned around in my seat when we stopped at the next red light, looking out the back window. It was daytime, and it wasn't there. I don't think it could be seen during the day. Mom and Dad had been making sure to pack us into motel rooms and pull the curtains closed every day before it got dark. It was another hour before anyone spoke. It was Amy, this time, who tried. "Where are we going?" she asked quietly. She'd stuck her phone in her pocket, so it couldn't be chucked out the window, I thought. I'd done the same, and my phone still had some battery power. "To the back in the fucking nowhere," Jack muttered. Neither of our parents called him up on the swearing. Mom flicked her eyes to the rearview mirror, not to see me. She looked past my head at the road behind. It was heading towards mid-afternoon. I watched Mom return her eyes hastily to the road in front of her. "Anywhere, until we're safe," she answered. Jack rolled his eyes. Amy sat silently. It was another few hours, the sun starting to set, before we piled into the next motel room. Amy and I took one bed. Jack took the other, while Mom lay down on the couch and Dad pulled a chair beside the window, the shotgun barrel balanced against his knee. I woke later that night to Amy and Jack having a whispered conversation between their beds. I looked over. Dad had taken the couch and was snoring away, exhausted. Mom had nodded off in her chair. "Do you think it has anything to do with, her?" Amy whispered. "Do you think it's driven them round the twist?" Jack finished for her. "Yeah, I do. I'd agree with that. Her, whatever you wanted to call the thing. It was the problem. I think we need to get away," Jack went on. "Run off. And just leave them?" Amy whispered back. "They're nuts, Jack." "We can call someone for them," Jack suggested. Amy just hummed non-committally. Mom jolted awake then, and the two of them shut up, pretending to be asleep. I rolled over and shut my eyes again. When I drifted off to sleep, it was to awful dreams of screams and darkness, dirt and roaring tractors. We sat silently in the back of the car the next morning, watching the scenery rush by outside. I think we all knew not to question our parents anymore. Amy pulled out her phone and went to turn it on. Mom eyed her. "You're not letting anyone know where we are," she said, her voice low and warning. "I promise, Mom," said Amy. "I'm just checking if anyone's messaged me." Amy was quick, just scrolling through. Then she switched off her phone and stuffed it back in her pocket. I was sure to only switch on my phone again when we stopped to use the toilet. I did it inside the store and quickly messaged my best friend Georgie, just letting her know I wouldn't be in classes for a while. I saw her start to respond, then I shut my phone off, not wanting to waste my battery power. It was at the next rest stop that Jack disappeared. We spent ages calling for him, but where he'd slipped off to, we couldn't tell. The sun was getting low in the sky. So panicked, my dad made the decision to drive on to the nearest motel. Mom argued with him the whole way, and I could tell Dad felt awful about it. I saw him crying in the chair by the motel window that night. Then he pulled the curtain back a bit, looked out, shuddered, and dropped the curtain to cover the window again, gripping the shotgun tighter. Amy was the next to go. It was while we'd stopped for a pee on the side of the road. She just took off, and though again we searched, we didn't find her. It was just me and my parents then, driving on and on and on in silence. Another motel and another. And then we were caught. 5 police cars and 2 ambulances surrounding us one afternoon, pulling us over. Mom and Dad were taken away to hospital for a psychiatric assessment. I found myself at my aunt's house, back not far from where we'd begun driving. Amy and Jack were there. They were fine, though worried about Mom and Dad. They weren't worried about it. I heard the specialist talking to my aunt. I was right there, quiet in the corner, that night. The specialist called it philetics, a madness shared by 2. She explained. My parents had somehow convinced themselves they were being followed by something, a figment of their imagination, the specialist suggested. It sounded like adult mumbo-jumbo to me, because I could see it in the dark window across from me. I could see it staring in at us. It looked just like me, a 12-year-old girl with mosey hair, only unlike me, one eye was missing, that side of its face crushed, and its lips were nearly white, its face pale and its head sitting at a funny angle. I looked away, creeped out, tingles running down my spine, and turned on my phone. George's responses to my messages was there. My heart fell as I read it. Georgie and I had been best friends since we were little. It hurt to see her turn her back on me. Stop messaging me, please. My parents say you're a creep to use this number. Leave me alone. I hit something strange on the road, now it's following me. As I stood over the car gas laying in front of me, I felt like I couldn't move. Maybe there was some residual shock from the crash, but I felt that it was just a small part of it. It's that the more I looked, the less sense everything made. Everything I knew started to feel just slightly wrong. I had lived in these woods my whole life and had never seen anything like that. I had run over a few animals before. On accident, I mean, of course. It happens when you live around these parts, but it would always leave me a deep sadness for days. There isn't much you can do about it. It's not like wild animals are taught to check the road before crossing. They just do, and always at the worst time. It felt different this time. Something inside me told me it was a good thing this happened, that I had done a good thing, accidentally, but a good thing nonetheless. That thing did not look benevolent, unlike anything else that belonged to this forest. It looked like something more dangerous than an apex predator, something above the food chain, above us. The first thing that struck me was its limbs. Some of them were now crooked from the impact with my car, but that actually made them look less normal. They were long, thin, and sharp like a sort of blade. It's the only way I could describe it. It felt like their only purpose was to move and kill. I started thinking about something I had heard sometime before that night. A couple of hunters had warned the town something new was living in the woods. They had found a dead bear while out hunting, but said that what killed it couldn't have been a wolf or a big cat of some sort, since it wouldn't make sense for them to cause a scene like the one they found. They said there was blood everywhere. The bear had its ribcage sliced open and its heart ripped out of it. What killed it didn't take a single bite out of the body, and neither did any of the other animals. It's like something had marked its territory and asserted its dominance in the woods. They said the forest looked deserted, that it was completely silent, as if something had scared everything away. No one believed them at that time. The town just issued a wolf warning some days later, and it wasn't even the first time they came into town, so no one got too worked up about it. That story made a lot more sense now.